Today, we are going to talk about the most frequent problem that every business analyst faces on every project. The problem of stakeholder time. Stakeholders never have enough time for meetings, to review your documents, or to respond and provide you with information. This challenge is ubiquitous. Project stakeholders say they're too busy and they can't attend all your meetings and they can't be part of all those conversations. They can't even read your emails. How are you supposed to do your job? How are you going to gather information, analyze requirements, and figure out what is it that these stakeholders truly want? First, I want to tell you this today. This problem is never going away. It will always be there. Your stakeholders will never have plenty of time. You can just forget about it. You can't even try to wish for it because it will not happen. The only way for you to survive and to do your job is to adapt. And in fact, this is exactly where you come in as a business analyst, by supplying your time and your expertise so that you can use stakeholders' time in the most efficient way. After all, the organization needs these business stakeholders to do other important work like selling, keeping customers happy, keeping those manufacturing lines running. And you have to support them as much as possible. You have to figure out how to use their time to get their expert knowledge and to help them focus on analysis and to help them focus on the right things. And those right things are business value, highlighting to you important factors that you need to research further. They need to make judgments and decisions based on their experience and authority and on information that you help to collect. So as an analyst, you have to mitigate this problem of not sufficient time from your stakeholders by using several strategies, and I want to summarize it as 7 strategies for you today. The first strategy is do your research well. So before you go and ask stakeholders for information, do some research. If certain information is already captured as organizational knowledge in documentation, don't ask them again. Don't ask them to explain it to you over and over. That's not a good use of their time. And maybe they actually already invested their time in putting that documentation together or capturing that knowledge. You have to read, you have to study, you have to research, you have to uncover information. Then you can ask them specific questions. Of course, the documentation may not be complete, or the knowledge you collected may not be perfect. They may have some contradictions. This is exactly where the experts come in to explain, to clarify, to validate, maybe to fill in some gaps of your understanding. But don't expect them to create all of that knowledge in your head for you. You have to do 90% of the research yourself and just use the experts for the remaining 10% to explain and to fill in and to clarify anything new that happened since documentation was last updated. Ask them what else is important that maybe is not captured. Ask them what else you should have asked about and you didn't, so they can help you if they see that you have done your job and have done your research. And by the way, if through those conversations with business stakeholders you discover a piece of knowledge that wasn't captured anywhere, something new, an insight, well, do your job as an analyst and write it down and add it to the organizational knowledge base. Add it as a requirements artifact. Add it as a glossary entry, because business analysts also add value by growing this organizational knowledge, and who else would be a best source as a business expert? Okay, so that was our number 1, do your research. Number 2 is prepare for every conversation. If you're planning to talk to your stakeholders, you're trying to get their time, you have to know what is your purpose, what is it that you want to get from that. Think of the questions, send them questions in advance, mention what you already know in advance. Now, not everybody, of course, will read necessarily your message, but if that stakeholder reads it because they want to prepare for your meeting and actually use your time effectively as well, they will be prepared, they will know what to expect, they might have some additional information with them, and both of you will win. Even better, sometimes if you provide your questions in advance, they may actually respond you via email. It may turn out that it doesn't necessarily warrant a whole meeting, spending an hour. They may provide what you need offline, and again, both of you will win and you will not need a meeting. So it's not bad if you have to cancel a meeting because you got a response in advance, right? Because if this is what you wanted, you have to be a professional. You have to say, let me give you your time back. I appreciate your expertise. And next time they will be more willing to help you and more willing to read your emails if actually answering that email helped them to save time. So number 2 was prepare for conversations, right? Number 3 that expands on the previous point is don't call needless meetings. Meetings are so expensive. So don't call meetings if one-on-one conversation can resolve the issue. Think about all the meetings that you may have been a witness to where all the conversations seem to happen between just one people, say the facilitator and one of the attendees. It seems that everybody else just listens, they look from one person to another, and then you're wondering, should it even be a meeting? What's the point? If you just need the expertise of one person and everybody else is there because they don't want to miss it, they want to be present, or because they are worried about not being invited, think again. Because you have to deal with the situation a little differently, because meetings cost a lot of money. People's time costs a lot of money. Would it not be better perhaps just to meet with your expert one-on-one, and everyone else can be kept informed by you taking good notes, by capturing requirements, artifacts, and by sharing the outcomes with everyone? A lot of times, many people want to come to a meeting and may want to be invited because that's the only way for them to know what is happening, and that's not healthy. So if you meet with one person but you share with everybody else the outcome and you give everyone a chance to respond, to comment, to add something, they should be more comfortable not being present in the meeting. And again, you save your time, you save stakeholders' time. And how much easier would it be for you to accommodate just the schedule of that one person than trying to arrange a large meeting? Number 4, do analysis between meetings. You have to analyze the information you collected before calling the next meeting. If you have been meeting after meeting, meeting after meeting, you have no time to digest or to analyze or aggregate information. And again, it is not healthy. That's not how analysis is done. Often, it results in business analysts doing their thinking right there in the next meeting, and everyone else is watching and observing or looking at their phones. So this becomes a waste of everybody's time because you are not using efficiently time of other people, because you are not prepared yourself, because you're still digesting information from previous meeting. The reason we are having meetings is to collect new information and to gather new insights, or maybe to get the group to make more decisions. You need time between meetings to process the results if you are the facilitator, right? You have time to capture takeaways, follow up on them, capture the information you gathered in requirements, artifacts, or models, or user stories, maybe capture some results or even partial results if you were doing root cause analysis or some problem solving. That accumulate, if you just keep meeting notes without analyzing, it will just result in accumulating meeting notes on top of meeting notes. And again, it will mean that your analysis is lagging behind, and the next meeting probably is going to be less efficient than the one before. By the way, I do have an article about cumulative notes taking and its danger that I'll link below. So the other reason to have time between meetings is to give chance to others work on their takeaways. If you finished previous meeting and a few of the participants went away with some takeaways, with some research they needed to do, or they needed to talk to their colleagues, or they needed to investigate something, give them time to do it. Give them time to bring back the results. And then again, your next meeting will be more efficient, because nobody wants to sit in a meeting and wait for someone to look things up or check things in an email, or even instant message someone with a question if it could have been done before. So if you want to run some queries to confirm a frequency of a certain scenario, you need time. If you need to confirm a business rule with another stakeholder, you need time to do it, or someone else needs time to do it. And these analysis activities ideally should be done in between the meetings. So then the next meeting, the next time you bring multiple stakeholders in, you should have the results, and that will make all of your time more productive. And again, this means that those stakeholders will be more willing to come to the next meeting. Number 5. My number 5 is share as you go. You never keep stakeholders in the dark, especially in between the meetings. You must always provide them with most current information, with analysis results, even if they are incomplete. Stakeholders should be able to see requirements in progress, draft user story maps, draft diagrams, so that they know what's going on. They can provide feedback at their convenience. For example, they have a chance to look at something in between their meetings. They saw something they disagree with or want to add to, they can shoot you a message. And you get this feedback even when you didn't ask for it directly. You want your stakeholders to be able to check artifacts when they remember something important. Imagine they are they're just doing one of their daily activities and an exceptional scenario happens and they think, oh, I think we just talked about it the last meeting and someone said that it doesn't happen this way. Let me just capture while I'm here at the moment, and they may just capture a screenshot for you or forward you the notification or send you some other evidence of the current business scenario, because in the moment they know where to go and they know how to send information back. The other reason is if you keep stakeholders in the dark, they wonder sometimes what exactly you do with information they provide, and they may be reluctant to give you more time or give you the answers, especially outside of meetings, because they're never sure where it goes. You don't want them to think that their information is going into a black hole. So you always need to provide access to all the artifacts to everyone who provides you with information. Maybe they want to discuss it with their own teams. For example, you work with a sales manager who is a stakeholder. Maybe next time they're having a team meeting, they'll mention a question that you had in your requirements workshop and they ask their team. It's much more convenient for them if they have everything at hand. They don't have to ask you. They know how to find it. They feel more independent, and then they can actually become your delegates, and they will help you to collect the information and do analysis, and it will all happen in parallel with the main activities. So you always must share all the project information, all requirements analysis information with all stakeholders, because it will keep them more engaged, more involved, and again, they will be more willing to share information with you whenever they have a chance. Number 6. Now, please don't be sneaky. Don't ever sneak anything in without letting your stakeholders know. Imagine your stakeholders just reviewed some user stories with you. You looked at it together, you agreed, you moved on. Later on, you discover a new piece of information and you go in and you quietly change that user story and you don't tell anyone because you think you are in the right. Please don't do that, okay? If you sneak things in without sharing with others, they may never trust you again, right? Because you just discussed, you just validated. If you want to change something that was discussed and agreed upon, let everyone know. Highlight it for them, tag them, bring it as an agenda for the next meeting, or just send a quick message and say, hey, I discovered new information. I made so-and-so update to user story 125. Can you please take a look? If you do that consistently, then you will be someone that they can trust. And when they trust you, they will find more information for you. They will be more relaxed about answering your questions because, again, they know they can trust you not to do things behind their back. And finally, because of course, a lot of our interaction with stakeholders happens in the meetings. However, it shouldn't be the only way we interact, but still meetings take up a lot of time. My number 7 and very important advice for you, run meetings in such a way that nobody wants to miss your meeting, okay? What it means is practice how to be an amazing facilitator, a brilliant facilitator, a person that runs really good meetings, and then others want to attend them. So your meetings should be efficient, engaging, rewarding. You want stakeholders to be willing to free up their time to attend your meeting. Okay? How to do that? Let me run through a few ideas quickly, and I'll have a separate video on that. First of all, listen to other people, hear what they say, don't just talk all the time. The meeting is for you to hear from them. Second, ensure that others are heard. Sometimes some people may be a little bit timid, or someone is not willing to talk too much in front of their boss. Find ways to engage quiet people. Sometimes they have good, important things to say. Next, appreciate inputs of other people. Thank them, listen to them, give them a chance to say what they mean. Next time when you mention something, say, as Mary said last time, or as Chris mentioned to us before, or remember what Sushmita said when she explained this scenario. So try to reference other people, because then they feel that you remember their contribution. Show them how their inputs contribute to the analysis. So it's not just your effort, it's the collective effort. Someone mentions exception scenario. Someone reminds you about a different issue. Someone brings a new anecdote which turns out to be important to your analysis. So use that contribution and show that it is valuable. Next, when you're having those meetings, the conversations, try to track which way meeting is going visually. So capture the notes so that everyone can see, do some diagrams on a shared screen or whiteboard, or even virtual whiteboard if you're having a remote meeting. Try to keep things so visual that everyone knows what's going on, and then everyone feels more involved, and their brain kind of stays in the present, and it's more likely to stay with your meeting so that they understand what's happening, why they're there, and they contribute more. And again, that makes your meeting more efficient. And by the way, don't forget to summarize your meetings at the end. Say, here, this is what we've done, this is what we've agreed on, these are the next steps, here's where we are with this, here is where we are with that, because then again, it gives everyone a better understanding of what they achieved and maybe highlights the value of the meeting. Another point I want to make, get them involved in solving problems so that they are really invested in the results. If there is a big challenge, like don't take it all on yourself. You're just the facilitator. You have these experts, involve them. Get them to step up, get them to take accountability, because then it's more likely that they'll continue to support it, because now they're more invested in their own suggestions. The other things, of course, are, can you make your meetings more fun? Maybe some inside jokes, maybe a little bit of fun visuals, maybe a little bit of socializing. You can figure out what's the right level depending on your group. But when you have a friendly group of people and they like meeting and they meet regularly and they have their own little rituals, it also helps them to be more relaxed and enjoy those meetings. And even though they work hard, they still get some fun out of it. When you can organize occasional treats, sometimes we can bring some baked goods, or do working lunch, or even again, put a little cartoon up. So do things that kind of give them a little bit of a relief, okay? So all of this we do, not just, it's not just trying to keep everyone happy. It's also because you want to engage stakeholders in your meetings and show them the value of those meetings, and you want them to want to attend your meetings, okay? This is the most important. If they don't want to miss your meetings, it's a huge compliment to you. So for me, I always remember the time where one of my busiest stakeholders said, you know what, your meetings are the highlight of my week. I always arrange the rest of my schedule so that I come to our requirements workshop. And that was a huge compliment to me. And I hope that you will hear a similar compliment as well as part of your business analysis career. So these are some of the ideas I wanted to share with you. I run regular BA Mindset Mentorship Circle for business analysts and for anyone who works with business analysts, where we work on very practical topics and subjects on how to improve on the projects. If you want to join, I'll include information below, and also check out my business analysis courses, my corporate training offerings, and see you in the next video. I'm Yulia Kosarenko.